You feel it before you even think about it. A pull in your hand, a flicker behind your eyes, you pick up your phone, you did not decide to. Your thumb just moved. You unlock the screen. Nothing is there. No message, no notification. And yet you check again 10 minutes later. Why? The easy answer is that phones are designed to be addictive. That is true, but it is not the real answer. The real answer is far stranger. The real answer is that your brain is not malfunctioning when you reach for your phone. It is doing exactly what it evolved to do in a world that no longer exists. Picture your ancestors on the savannah 60,000 years ago. They are not checking screens, but they are checking something else constantly. The tree line, the grass, the horizon. Every few minutes, their eyes sweep the environment for change. A rustle, a shadow, a new smell on the wind. This was not anxiety. This was survival software, running quietly in the background of every waking moment. Researchers call this behavior vigilance, and it was not optional. The humans who stopped scanning, who got too comfortable, who stayed absorbed in one task for too long, were the ones who got eaten. The ones who survived were the ones who kept checking. Over hundreds of thousands of years, checking became a habit written into the architecture of the brain itself. Now, fast forward. The savannah is gone. The predators are gone. But the scanning behavior never left. It is still running. It just has nothing to scan for. So it latches onto whatever offers the closest thing to novelty. And nothing on Earth offers novelty as efficiently, as constantly as a smartphone. Here is where it gets interesting. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran an experiment with pigeons. He put them in boxes with a lever. Press the lever, sometimes a food pellet drops. Not always, just sometimes on a random schedule. What happened next surprised everyone. The pigeons did not press the lever occasionally. They pressed it obsessively. Far more than the pigeons who got food every single time they pressed. This is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. In plain English, it means the reward is real, but you never know when it is coming. And that uncertainty is what hooks the brain. Not the reward itself, the not knowing. Now think about your phone. Every time you check it, there might be something. A message, a like, a notification. Or there might be nothing. You do not know until you look. Your phone is structurally identical to Skinner's lever. Except instead of a hungry pigeon in a box, it is you, holding a glowing rectangle 100 times a day. But there is something even deeper going on. Something that goes beyond reward. It is about uncertainty itself. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz studied dopamine, the brain chemical most people associate with pleasure. What he found changed how scientists understood the brain. Dopamine is not released most strongly when you get a reward. It is released most strongly in anticipation of a reward, especially when that reward is uncertain. Read that again. The peak chemical response in your brain is not the moment you see the notification. It is the moment before, the moment of not knowing, the reach, the unlock, the half second of what's there. This means the most powerful moment in your relationship with your phone is not when you find something interesting. It is the few hundred milliseconds before you look. Your brain has built an entire reward system around anticipation, because for your ancestors, anticipation of a threat or an opportunity was what kept them alive long enough to find out what happened next. Now, your ancestors' scanning behavior had a natural limit. The savannah was vast, but it was finite. Eventually, they had scanned it all. Nothing new to check. The brain could rest. Your phone has no such limit. It is connected to billions of other humans, all generating new information every second. There is always something new. The horizon never ends, which means the scanning instinct never gets the signal to stand down. It just keeps firing. Check. Nothing. Check. Nothing. Check. Something. Dopamine spike. Repeat. Here is the counterintuitive twist. You might think that getting more notifications would make this worse. More rewards, more reinforcement, right? But studies on phone use have found something different. People who keep notifications turned off often check their phones just as often, sometimes more. Because the absence of a notification does not turn off the scanning instinct. It just removes the external trigger and replaces it with an internal one. Your brain starts generating its own what if on a loop. This is why simply turning off notifications rarely solves the problem on its own. The urge to check was never really about the notification. The notification was just one possible answer to a question your brain has been asking since long before phones existed. The question is simply, has anything changed? Anthropologist Sarah Hrdy has written extensively about how human attention evolved in highly social groups, where knowing what other people were doing, thinking, and feeling was not a luxury. It was survival information. Who is angry with whom? Who has food? Who might be a threat? Who might be an ally? Social information was, for most of human history, the most valuable information available. Your phone did not invent this hunger. It simply digitized it. Every notification is, in some small way, a piece of social information. Someone thought of you. Someone reacted to something you said. Someone is doing something, somewhere, that you are not part of. And your brain, the same brain that once needed to track alliances and threats within a small band of 50 people, now tries to track the social signals of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people at once. It cannot. Not really, but it tries anyway. Because the instinct does not know the difference between 50 people around a fire and 10,000 people on a screen. To your nervous system, social information is social information, and missing it still feels, faintly, like missing something that could matter to your survival. So what do you do with this? You cannot uninstall 60,000 years of evolution, but you can understand what is actually happening when your hand moves toward your phone without permission. It is not weakness. It is not a personal failing. It is an ancient scanning behavior running on hardware it was never designed for, in an environment that offers infinite, uncertain, socially relevant information every second of every day. Some researchers, including those studying digital well-being, have found that the most effective interventions are not about willpower at all. They are about friction, making the phone slightly harder to reach, leaving it in another room, removing the lever from the hand, the way you might remove a pigeon from its box. Not because the pigeon is weak, but because the lever, if it is there, will always be pressed. Tonight, when you feel that pull in your hand, that flicker behind your eyes, notice it for what it actually is. It is not your phone calling to you. It is your ancestors, still scanning the tree line, still checking the horizon, still asking the same question they have asked for 100,000 years. Has anything changed? And for the first time in human history, the answer is always, technically, yes. And maybe that's the strangest part of all. The same instinct that once kept your ancestors alive, scanning the horizon, watching the tree line, asking, has anything changed, is the instinct now living inside your phone. It's not broken. It's just old. And tonight, when you feel that pull in your hand, you'll know exactly what it is. If this changed the way you see your own habits, subscribe. Because there's a lot more about your brain that you were never told. See you in the next one.